Manx Radio's Countryside is brought to you by NFU Mutual.
Hello and welcome to this week's Countryside programme. I'm Simon Clark.
And I'm Kirree. A few days ago I went off to the Chrysanthemum Show down in Castletown.
And I caught up with renowned wildlife artist Jeremy Paul during his exhibition at St John's last week. Well, first of all, Kirree, before we get into flowers and paintings, a tough time of year, and with yourselves involved in the end of year contracts with the farms, isn't it?
That's right, Hollantide, a very, very old traditional event in the farming calendar. But yes, we have quite a lot of tenanted land, and we've been very busy this week moving sheep off the land for 24 hours to have the vacancy there, and then move them all back on again. A very old tradition that you don't ever hear much of now. Everything's done by email and written notification, and that's enough. But some of those old traditions haven't died out. Yeah,
but hard work if you've got quite a few. Because I suppose in the days where it was all there, people had 2 or 3 cows, 20 sheep, a few chickens.
That's it. And it maybe was a little bit easier because there was a lot more staff around on the farms too. And that was the renewal of any staff to the farm. Some boys would move on to other farms, and it was always around the 11th of November, and or just in around that time anyway, the end of October, they would move on to new jobs or upgrade into a different maybe part of the industry. They go off fishing or a different part of life, and still an old tradition carrying on.
Well, one of the old traditions as well down the south of the Isle of Man is a flower show, the Chrysanthemum Society.
That's right. This year it was the 62nd annual 2-day Chrysanthemum Show in the Morton Hall in Castletown, and it's always well attended. But they're always looking for new young people to get involved. There's confectionery, vegetables, jars of all sorts of jams and chutneys, and obviously the chrysanthemums. And what a beautiful display there was. So I popped along to catch up with some of the people exhibiting and some of the people organising it. Noel Kringle, President of the Chrysanthemum Society. Another great turnout of vegetables and flowers and confectionery. How do you do it each year?
We've done very well. In actual fact, the way the boys here turn out the stuff, it's really quite remarkable. But they do exceptionally well every year, and it's not getting any easier. So if there's anybody out there who feels like becoming a member of society or getting some help to learn how to grow chrysanthemums and things in their own greenhouse, all they have to do is give me a call and ring up, and I'm sure that I can get one of them to give them help. And on top of that, of course, I've got standing alongside me at the moment Dorothy Farragher here. Now, Dorothy is well known in the Isle of Man because she goes around all the shows and is the biggest exhibitor, I think, in all the shows in the Isle of Man. Won everything, I think, Dorothy, haven't you?
Not quite, but I'm very pleased with how it has gone this year.
It's gone well for you yet again, and you've had a good year. So.
Oh, yes, so very, very pleased with how it all has gone for me.
Yourself and Brother David are getting ready for next year now, aren't
you? Probably.
What do you mean, probably? I know you are, aren't you?
We're getting tidied up, yes.
As you and I both know, it's all about preparation, isn't it?
A lot of it is that, yes.
In your garden, if it's not prepared, you don't plant.
No, well, we're trying our best.
But Dorothy won here today. She won the collection of veg class, and Dorothy said to me earlier, she's over the moon with winning this. It's one class that she's never won before.
But did you see that stalk of sprouts that are there? Yeah. They're quite remarkable this year because sprouts haven't done very well. So if you want sprouts for Christmas, be prepared this year. I don't think the sprouts have done very well at all this year anywhere.
Well, I had 9 plants this year. I grew 9 plants this year, and that's one of them.
Yes.
But that is the best of them, you know.
Yes, so obviously when you look at things like that and you go around on the shows and you can see the veg and the flowers, you know by the year how the year has gone for each of the gardeners, really, don't we, Dorothy?
Oh, that's true, yes.
You know,
yes.
and each thing comes in its turn.
Yes.
And there's no use looking for onions and sprouts at the wrong time of the year, is it?
Absolutely.
No. Yeah.
But I didn't think I thought we'd need leeks here to win, you see. That's what I thought. Well, I'll never be able to win with just that, because I've never competed in this before, you see. First time I've competed in this particular class.
Yes.
So I thought, well, I'll give it a try this year.
It's the first time you've competed in this class here?
Yes,
at
here.
this show?
At this show.
Oh, yes, but I know at Column and things like that. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, but at this show, it's the first time.
It's the first time in this one, yeah, okay.
At this show.
But Dorothy not only won the collection of veg, she's won many of the other classes here as well, Noel.
Yes, she's one of, as I said at the start of this little conversation, she is one of the show people of the flowers and vegetables in the Isle of Man. Everybody knows. If you go to Andros or you come down here in the south, you'll see Dorothy Farragher's name on cards.
Well, I didn't do Andreas, actually. That's one I haven't managed yet.
No, but you will, though.
I'll have to talk awfully nicely to my brother.
But Dorothy, what work goes into preparing the vegetables for a show like this? Because obviously it just doesn't happen overnight.
I've no idea, really. My brother says I live for the garden and for the chapel. Those two things. I think that is it, really.
I think it has to be a lot of commitment and a lot of passion.
Yes.
And obviously you're already getting ready for next year. I know Noel was joking. But January, you will start with the tomatoes.
Oh, yes.
Don't you believe it, Kirree? I'm not joking. I mean, so you're talking about chrysanth growing here, you know, and some of these chrysanth boys have already got the dates in the calendar.
I'm sure.
For when they start and stop the flowers for next year's show.
To make for the right time, yes.
Absolutely. Some of them do it to the hour, never mind the day.
Goodness, wow.
Yeah.
But that is a lot of commitment, and like you say, it is a dying art. So it is absolutely essential that we get the younger generations involved.
Yes, if you can. But that is the trouble. There are not many younger ones coming along.
So why aren't you, Kirree? I mean, to say there at home, I happen to know there's a dirty, great big polythene tunnel there that you keep a few sheep in. I'm sure you could find an odd corner of that to grow a few chrysanths now.
Well, this is it, isn't it? I just have to find a bit more time in my week somewhere. Yes. But it's a lot of dedication and it shows. And how do you feel, Dorothy, when you come away with that winning certificate?
Oh, tickle pink. When you've never won it before, that's the thing of this. Yeah. Because it was I really didn't think I would. So I'm very pleased that I have managed it,
Well done, Dorothy.
Huge congratulations.
Thank you very much.
No, you cannot.
Michael, so you were a winner here today. What did you win?
The Thornton Challenge Cup for the best exhibit in the chrysanthemum exhibit in the show, and several others in the different sections of the reflex incurves.
It's really, really great. Well done.
Michael has a long heritage in chrysanth growing, because I think right when we go back to the starting of the chrysanth show, his father was probably closely involved in the commencement of it.
Yes, he was there a few years after it started.
Not many years after
not
it
many
started.
after it started.
He was right there at the start.
Well,
yeah.
And has it changed over the years much?
Well, I don't know, because I've actually only been growing this since 6 years I've been doing it, I think.
Yeah. And what work goes into getting them ready for today? Because obviously there's been an awful lot of rain recently as well. Are they all indoors?
No, they only come in September. They're out, you take cuttings sometime in February and then pot them on, 3-inch pots, then to 5-inch. So it goes on all through the summer. They stand outside in the summer, and once the bud comes, you bring them in then to the greenhouse to flower them.
It's exactly what I told you before. If there is anyone out there who would like to become a member, or in fact just to grow a few to get started, if he comes and contacts any of us, or Michael or any of the boys around here, they'd all help to get them started. I'm sure there's a fair few cuttings that you'll take in February which you would pot on.
Yes, there's plenty of cuttings. If anybody wanted cuttings, there's no problem. We would supply them with cuttings, give them all the help. There's no secrets to it, really. And, everybody would help to somebody to start, so it'd be good.
And to look at the chrysanthemums, they look like a lovely little puffball of colour. Now, to me, they're absolutely perfect. And to you, obviously, they're all very, very different.
Well, they are all different, and there's different sections. So the small incurved ones, which are quite difficult to get exactly right on time, because you only get a window of a couple of weeks, and then they'll they'll not be quite ready, and then you have 2 weeks where they're ready, and then after that they start opening further when they're not quite right for what they should be.
So how do you get that process at the right time, just right? Because obviously it's quite important to get the best exhibit of the show, to have it perfect.
I told you before, Kirree, that these boys have got it off to the hour of the day in which they start them. But they do work to the calendar. Come on, Mike.
Yes, it does to a calendar. It's what you call a stopping date, which is basically pinching the bud out, is basically what it is. So you do that. Most of the varieties are the second week of April, and then they have a specific date after that, sometime up to June or just during June. So stop twice, so the bud is taken out, and then that'll affect the timing of it. So you can increase it by a few days, a week, or go the other way, and you know what you've done the year before, and it'll hopefully come spot on. But you do need a good slice of luck with it, of course, like most things. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some of them have to be covered by paper bags, don't they?
Well, that does happen, yes.
And what will that do to them?
Well, the bud, once the bud starts to open, you basically inflate a bag, tie that round the bud, and there's going to get no insect damage or any other sort of damage then, you see. So that's enclosed then.
My word, there's so many tricks and tricks to the trade,
Well,
Noel.
I was in one club member's polytunnel about 3 weeks ago, and there were more paper bags than there is in the grocer's shop.
And how do you pick the colours, Mike? Because they're so vivid. They are very, very beautiful. From your cuttings in the spring, you know what colour they're going to turn out.
Yeah, the plant. If you take the cuttings, the plant will come true to the mother plant, if you like. So you do. Obviously, there's raises, so they'll cross pollinate, and you'll get a new cultivar that way.
And is there a specific traditional colour of the chrysanthemum?
No, I don't think there is. There's every colour of chrysanthemum apart from blue, really. So there you go.
God. And your winning set here today, what were they like?
Here's the thing we got talking about cuttings. My vase of 5 that won the best vase there, that was actually given to me by another grower, and them as cuttings, as little 2 or 3 inch cuttings. So that's the first time I'd grown it.
Yeah.
So, but then again, of course, I didn't know what I was doing this time. So now I know what I'm doing. Well, probably won't be able to do it again.
Look out next year.
This young lady standing alongside me now will tell you how much time he spends looking after his chrysanthemum. Go on.
Months and months and months, from January right the way through.
You never see him in February.
No, March, April.
But it just shows what work goes into getting ready for a show. I know we're in November. That's a long, long time. A lot of commitment, isn't it?
Well, he's going to start vegetables next year as well, though, aren't you? So it's going to be even worse.
But are you involved as well? You enjoy being a green-fingered person?
No, I'm not green-fingered. I just make a few cakes.
But then those classes are quite stiff here as well, aren't they? It's not easy because there's a lot of old traditional recipes. Where do you get your recipes?
Mother-in-law.
Yeah, my mother, but she's there was mince pies wars one year, you see. So
and I won.
There was mother, wife and daughter all competing, and I'll not say who won.
I won.
It's not safe to be in that kitchen then, Mike.
No. I'm okay at eating them.
Yeah, I think I can agree there too. And another member of the Chrysanthemum Society.
Current chairman.
The chairman.
For me sins.
As the chairperson, how has today gone for you?
It's very good. The people now are starting to come in nicely, ready to get the money out of them to sell all the stuff, and the raffle. So some lovely prizes there, and lovely flowers to buy.
They are. We're just admiring that, all the different colours, and it is so lovely where you can come. You're maybe not a green-fingered person, but it's better than going down to the local superstore and buying a bunch. These are local Manx-grown flowers.
They're specials, these. not seen anywhere else.
But talking to the boys there, the tricks and the secrets that go into growing these throughout the whole year, it takes a long, long time.
It does. I'm only growing a few. I've been in gardening all my life, but never grown chrysanthemums for the show until 4 years ago. But I've got a few entries in, but I have lost a lot. I think all the members have lost a few this year with the dampness.
And that will affect?
Oh yes, that does affect. It's hard work, just continuous work at night. Even some of them, they go out, you go out with a torch, looking in the top of the canes, getting earwigs out and things like that.
Oh my
8, 9,
goodness me.
10 o'clock at night. They only come out when it gets dark.
Yes.
So you have to get those, otherwise they're just you'll come out the next day and the whole side of the flower is dropped right down.
My word, the responsibility with it as well.
It is, it's a lot. I'm only a beginner really, although as I say, I've been in gardening since I was about, since I left school.
And would you grow veg at home as well? Or?
I grow a little bit, just for the house. But
and do you find that a lot more people are going that way? They are wanting to grow a lot more local veg.
It's nice and fresh. You get it from the supermarkets, you don't know how long it is. And I still can't believe how you go into the supermarkets and you find a sell-by date on potatoes or carrots. They'll last, well, you know yourself, you can stick them in a clamp in the corner of the shed or something and they'll last for months.
Wouldn't they just?
You know?
They really would. And I think that's the way the world's going. They're a lot more conscious about environmental, the carbon footprint, food miles. Do you think it will be, a big swing back to local grown produce?
Well, hopefully, if everybody grows their own, I think we'll have a healthier society right across the board.
Yeah, it would make a massive difference, wouldn't it? Yeah. And there's so much pressure on the NHS and other doctor surgeries to keep the health going.
I take quite a lot of tablets myself.
Yeah.
It's all through the occupation that I've been in, with wearing Wellington boots and oilskins, and it's telling on arthritis on me, bad arthritis on my ankles and that. But it doesn't stop me. It doesn't stop me. It's a lovely hobby. Since I've retired, I've been growing them, and I've got about 70 pots of chrysanthemums. I've got a nice greenhouse there, which hopefully the show I'm pushing for next year, but we're only down to about 6-7 members altogether that are growing. The chrysanthemums, vegetables. There's more, with like Dorothy and John. They work wonders, but
and it's nice to see that the entries for the cake section and the preserves. It's always well supported too, isn't it?
All adding it, so it all brings people in for the help the society at the end with in the selling. And
what year is this now for the Chrysanthemum Show?
62nd show. This.
Wow, that is some going, isn't
it? And John Cook is here. He has only missed one show.
My word.
He has missed one show. It was the second show, I think. Was it?
I didn't. I'd never been to a flower show until this show started in Russian school. And that very first year I called in on my way home from work, and I thought I'll have a go at that. And to the best of my knowledge, I haven't missed a show since.
My word, the work that will have gone in over those years, John.
That's 61 years.
And have you had a winner every year?
Well, no, I'll not say I've had a winner, but I've had exhibited, and that's been a winner as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
No, it's a huge achievement, isn't it? A lot of dedication and work goes into it.
Well, it's been a nice hobby, but I'm retiring gracefully this year.
Well, that said, you've got many winning entries here today, John.
Well, yes, but it's nice to see so much veg back in, because it's been very, very poor. I've had it all my own way, more or less, this last 20 years since Dennis died. I've had no opposition until this year.
Yes. And I see the young Quay family there. They've been getting involved this year. And obviously Dorothy, she's not far behind either.
No. So I don't know who's got the point shield, but I'm bloody glad that I'm not carrying it home.
So next year, John?
Oh, no, there'll be no more. This is definitely finished. I've got given me allotment up, and my sheds is all coming down. So I've got no bounce, and I fell a couple of times in the garden and I can't get up. I've been lucky enough. There's been someone close enough to help me up.
Yeah, So you'll have to come back in a judging capacity next time, maybe.
well, anything can happen between now and this time next year.
Oh, this is it. What a great show, though. Lovely display, like you said, and we look forward to the auction this afternoon.
Oh, yes.
Someone will be going home with a nice roast dinner and vegetables, wouldn't they?
Oh, there are no vegetables going home with me.
Oh.
But a nice piece of that sponge cake would be nice.
Andy Kenyon, congratulations. You got reserve best in show. A little less than last year, being the best exhibit last year. What did you do different this time?
Oh, every year is different, and there's no guarantees on anything you grow.
Is it hard to grow them?
Not really. You spend your time and you make the effort when it needs to be, and as long as it's a hobby, you can keep enjoying it.
Noel keeps saying, get a lot of younger people encouraged, get them involved. What would you say to a young person in the gardening world?
Oh, come along and see it, and any of us will give you cuttings and any advice, and there's loads of stuff on the internet to find out about them, and once you're hooked, it's a real joy.
It is. It must be such a pleasure to win those, like the trophies here today, Andy. Some of those names go back a very, very long time. I see John Corker's name being on for 20 years, and this is his last year.
Yes. I say once you get hooked on it, you enjoy it for all the rest of your life. And to see what you can grow from a little cutting in the springtime till November, and you've got a big flower or a big show of flowers.
And you're one of the younger members. And it seems like the two young boys of the club are the ones that are just sort of leading the way. Any secrets?
No secrets, really. Probably best one would be not to give Michael your cuttings that you won with.
That's never the case.
Oh, it is this year. His win ones or cuttings of mine, so I'm proud. You won't give me half the winnings, so.
Well, that has to be something in itself, like you say, something to be very proud of.
Yes, but I mean, to anybody else that wants to grow some, I welcome some cuttings. And I'd say they can be winning ones or not giving you rubbish.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Everybody wants to be a winner. But like you say, that sense of pride when you're standing in this hall here today and to see that table full to the brim of all of the homegrown produce, the flowers, the confectionery, a lot of hard work has gone into it.
Well, if you call it work, yes, it's hard work. But if you call it your hobby and enjoy it, it's a pleasure to do.
And now off to buy a ginger cake?
Oh, yes.
Noel, he's never got old, has he? He's still doing the auctioneering.
Still as good as ever.
And very proud president of the Southern Chrysanthemum.
Yes. We just can't get him to grow any.
John, you had the very difficult task of being the judge here at the Chrysanthemum Show today.
It can be extremely difficult because usually you go around, you'll see one vase or two vases or three vases that stand out and magnificent like. But when they're all of an equal, it comes down to looking at the odd bad petals, sort of what they're like for size, and you've got certain things you look at when you look at a vase. You look from the top, they look completely different, look from the side. So there's all little sort of things you do, and the boys take it very, very seriously. So when you judge them, you take it very seriously to judge them because there's nothing worse. They grow them for 12 months of the year. They take their cuttings in January, February, grow them till November. They've got 1 week to show them in, and if they don't make it, so to even get them on the bench takes a lot of doing.
It really is.
So they say you take a lot of time. Make sure they're right, and do your best. But even so, you can make a mistake, and you think when you went home, well, maybe I shouldn't give that, but I've been doing it now for quite a few years now, so I'll get thrown out if I make too many mistakes.
But John, you're no stranger to the chrysanthemum. You used to grow them yourself.
Yes, I used to grow them. I hate to think what it is. We had a few successes as well. So yes.
And in this competition too, John.
Oh yes. I've won best in shows, etc. for 3 or 4 years when I grew them, but then I had to sort of give them up, and I've got the judging, which is the easy part compared with growing them, but it's still difficult.
But that's it, and you appreciate the side of it, from the growth side of it too.
Yes, exactly. What we're looking for is a plant that's at its peak on the day.
And that is very tricky. Like you say, Noel suggested it was down to the hour, some of these schedules on putting this plant in the show.
Well, it used to be the way you used to have a Douglas show in the Villa Marina, and there used to be this show, and there used to be a Foxdale show, and they were all in separate weeks. So you had 3 weeks scan. So if you have them a week too early, you get one show, a week late you get them another show, but now you've only got one show, unfortunately. and it's unfortunate there's not so many growers now because it is very time consuming, but it's the ultimate challenge, I think, in the island as far as flower shows go. And again, it'd be great if we could get more people growing, saying somebody's only grown a couple this year.
But like you say, the top end with Mike Pemberton and Andy Kenyock there,
yes.
You know, they're really, really into it. They're so serious about it.
Yes. I actually competed when Mike's dad was in it, so you know, I've sort of known him back in I forget what year it would be in. Let's see, 44, 54, in the early 60s, like that. Yeah. I had the long haircut and all.
And was there much in it between the two boys at the top there for the medals?
Well, when you judge, you've got no idea who they are. Obviously, all their tickets are upside down, and you make sure like that you don't come anywhere near until like 10:15, and I don't come anywhere near. Mavis puts the cakes in, but I stand outside while she gets all the cakes in.
And I do believe Mavis is a winner as well.
Yes, she's good cake, as you can see. She's one of the best in the show for the cakes.
And then Dorothy Farragut with the best in the show for the veg.
Yeah, well, Dorothy, she's incredible. I don't know how she does. She's incredible. All the shows she does in the summer. She's so consistent, and she gets tomatoes in for our column, which is the last week in June, and how she gets them.
Yeah, it's them green fingers and all the secrets.
She is an extremely good grower, extremely good, and I don't know how she does it. And she's got David helping her now as well. That's her son, brother. Yeah.
But it is a credit, and the boys earlier there, I was chatting with them, you know, is growing veg at home, we once thought it was a thing of the past, but is it coming back around? Because people are so keen to know where their food comes from.
Yes, I think so. The likes of ourselves, we buy an awful lot of food from the farmers' things like St Mark's and all that, where you get, like those Brussels sprouts there, if they use today or tomorrow and like that, the best Brussels sprouts you've ever tasted.
Oh,
you know? Yeah, so good when you get the fresh veg. And I'm all in favour of trying to keep our local veg and flowers going, and that, yes, it's good, yes.
So I caught up with quite a few people there at the Annual Chrysanthemum Show. There was Noel Kringle, the president, Dorothy Farragut, the vegetable winner, and Mike Pemberton, the overall best exhibiting show with his chrysanthemums, and reserve Andy Kenyock. Also, the chairperson of the Southern Chrysanthemum Society, Kenny Barnes, and the judge for the day, John Moore, with his wife Mavis winning the confectionery side.
Yeah, very sad. John Corkish there, been involved in it, only missed one all those years, and sort of time to give it up, he says. So sad times, that.
It really is, but he's very proud. You know, he's made friendships for a lifetime through the show, and the sense of pride he still had there. His name was on so many of the trophies for a good number of years, and I caught up with him off air as well there with a few of the stories, and one of his greatest memories was at Hop Tune. And he had his horse and cart going through Arbury School, and the children would all run out and, "Can we have a turnip there, sir? Can we have a turnip?" And he'd dish out a few of the turnips. And there was one year he reckoned he needed to go back to the field to get it filled up again before going home. He was giving out that many, but it's one of his greatest memories.
Mighty character. You're listening to Countryside here on Manx Radio with Kirree Kermode and myself, Simon Clark. Well, many of you, and some won't, have heard of the renowned wildlife artist Jeremy Paul, who lives here on the Isle of Man. He's won many top accolades, the sections of the BBC Wildlife Artist of the Year, amongst many others. He exhibits around Europe and all sorts of places, and he has some fantastic paintings of wildlife and scenes off and on the Isle of Man. And I caught up with him during his display at the St John's Tynwald Mills.
Well, Dr. Jeremy Paul, it's always a pleasure. I've been to your exhibitions before, and I'm absolutely stunned by the exhibition you've got on display at St John's again this year.
Oh, well, thank you.
This isn't an annual event for you, though, here at St John's, is it?
No, I only exhibit on the island every 2 years. Alternate years, I usually exhibit in Guernsey, and then I deal with a gallery in the UK and send paintings at different places. So it's only every 2 years here on the island.
So you do get as far afield as some American places to exhibit.
Yeah, yes. I've been lucky enough to have paintings accepted into big exhibitions in America. So that's quite good. You know, it gives you that sort of more international sort of status as an artist. You know. So.
But didn't start life as an artist. The marine biologist you are by trade, and this is what got you into it, is it?
Well, partly. I used to work up on the west coast of Scotland in a very isolated little island, and I started painting birds seriously while we were living there, and then like a lot of marine biologists, I ended up being unemployed, and then started painting seriously, and it's all grown from that. So I've been a full-time artist now for 30 years.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And still enjoy the painting?
Oh, I love it. It's a pleasure to me. I mean, it can be very frustrating at times, but yeah, no, it's fantastic. I mean, I've been so lucky, and not only been able to make my living doing it, but the travelling I've done, as well, and some of the wildlife I've seen around the world. It's I have to kick myself every now and then.
The thought of you sitting on the cliff edge with an easel trying to paint a bird that's flying around it doesn't seem the easiest thing that comes to mind.
No, that's because I wouldn't. I'm a far better photographer than I am a sketcher and drawer. So I just basically go around with my camera and take lots and lots of photos, and then use those photos to compose a painting back in the studio and put everything together. But all my work is from things that I've seen and places I've been and photographs I've taken. So.
Yeah, and when you look at these, the detail that's in these, in the acrylic form, and that's is that the best that would bring out the landscapes or portrait side of it with animals and birds?
Well, acrylics, they're quite, I wouldn't say easy to use, but with acrylics, if you make a mistake, you just paint over it and keep going, So, and I've learnt to paint using acrylics, so I can't really paint in anything else. So I'm stuck with acrylics, but I know what I'm doing with them. I mean, people are always asking me how long it takes to do a painting, and the truthful answer is really it's 30 years.
Really?
Yeah, because it's all the experience and all the learning how to do it. That gives you the technique and the practice to be able to produce the work. So you just improve continuously, and I'm still improving. And my style's changed over the years, as well. So,
did you ever look at other artists' work and wonder how he's got that sort of effect, or do you just like to leave it to your own?
No, always. You're always looking at other artists, and there's some really good wildlife artists around the world. But you're always looking at how they do things and trying to work it out as to the technique they've used and the way. And there is some artists that I don't need to look at the signature. I can be shown an image of their work, and I know who it's by without looking at who, the caption underneath.
Have people said that about your work, though?
Some people have said that, yeah.
Which must be a nice compliment.
It is, but you have to have your own individual. It's not just the way of painting, but the composition and the style and everything. It's a sort of a signature look of a painting that some artists get that you can instantly recognise.
You look at some of these, just ones that's in front of us here now with the wagtail and the size of the birds, lovely proportion. But it's not just the bird that is brilliantly painted. The lines and the sort of knots in the wood, the rusty gate hinges.
Yeah, I mean, I love all that. I love all the sort of texture and the contrast as well between the hard texture of the wood and the old rusting iron and the bird and the softness and everything. So it's all composing the image that you want in which is in my mind from the reference photos. I mean, this was an old hulk of a boat down in Suffolk actually that I photographed, but as soon as I saw it, I knew that I wanted to create a painting using it. But then you have to work it all out and what you're going to put in it and how it's going to look in the end. So
but many awards that you've won, and course, three years on the trot, I think, BBC Wildlife Artist of the Year.
Well, category winner in the BBC Wildlife Artist of the Year. I never won the overall title, but I've been lucky. I've won a few things over the years. Yeah.
And what about when you got recognised and that first one come along?
Well, it's one of these sort of things you sort of go, oh wow, someone else.
You wouldn't have given up painting if you wouldn't have won one,
No, I mean you always enter these things, but for me it's there's one I enter every year, another one in London which I had a painting in. But it's getting into that final selection, that final exhibition that they have for these Wildlife Artists of the Year competitions. It just puts you in a category of good quality professional artists. It gives you that recognition that you're not just capable of producing the odd painting that's good, but your overall status as an artist is, you've got this quality in your work that's recognised. So,
how many have you got on display in here today?
There's about 35 paintings here, so it's a year's work here.
So you painted all these in a year?
Yeah. This is
pretty good going, though, isn't it?
Well, it's my job, I paint every day for sort of 7 or 8 hours or whatever. Yeah.
So. And did you have a special ambience in the room or anything like that?
No, not really. No, I
listen to Mozart or anything.
No, in fact, I prefer listening to speech radio. Actually, yeah. No, I just get on with it.
Not listening to Brexit. The brush could do a slip
God,
then.
No.
But what about your favourite types of paintings, or do you like the variety that you do? Painting from one sort of scene and type of bird to a tiger or something, or a snow scene.
I like to chop and change what I do. I've been lucky in some of the wildlife I've seen in different parts of the world, but I mean, particularly this exhibition. Actually, when I put it on the walls, I realised there's far more Isle of Man pictures than I would perhaps normally have, and there's fewer of the more exotic wildlife, and it's not a conscious decision. It's just I like to change what I do all the time.
Yeah, because you look here by the side of us, there's an owl sitting on a gate, and a typical sort of Isle of Man farmyard is called Evening at Erie Staying.
Yeah, because I go out. I'm out walking quite a lot, and it's just these scenes that I, sort of suddenly catch my eye, and you'll take photographs and references of that. And I mean, the owl wasn't actually there, but it was in my mind.
Yeah.
And that's how I work. I mean, we live quite near Erie Staying, and I've seen barn owls around there. So that's the way I put things together.
You say you always have the camera with you. I mean, have you ever sort of put photographs in and won awards for that as well?
No, I mean, I've got a collection of thousands of photographs of wildlife from around the world, and some of them are pretty good. But no, I mean, they're my references. They're my sort of tools of the trade, if you like. All this sort of reference library I've picked up and developed over the years. Going back to I've got a filing cabinet full of 35mm slides, which I still use, I still dip into, and but digital is a lot easier, and less expensive as well. So,
but you must have seen some sites to get the look on the faces of the tigers and the leopards that you've painted.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's the plus part of the job, I suppose, going to these places and seeing the wildlife. But if you're doing this sort of work, you've really got to study them, so you have to know, which way the fur goes around the face and all that sort of thing, and all the details. Because if you're doing detailed work and you get it wrong, someone will very quickly pick you up on it, So, yeah.
So it's attention to detail, not just in the painting side of it, but how the animal is in real life. So
yeah, important. I mean it's the whole thing. When I go on a trip somewhere, whether it's Africa or India or Madagascar for the lemurs, I come back with a complete reference library of the place as well as the wildlife. So I'll photograph all sorts of things that people would think whether it's blades of dry grass or old bits of trees and things like that. I've just got a whole sort of library of all this sort of stuff. So.
But you bring them to life, though. That's the important thing, isn't it?
Well, yeah. That's where if you like, the creative side. When you get back in the studio and you develop the composition of the painting. So, you know, a lot of people say, oh, well, they like photographs, and I like to think they're better than photographs because they're composed in my mind, so you know, everything is where you want it to be rather than where nature has put it. You know, so you can balance a painting, and you know, sort of if there's a branch in the wrong place, you don't put it in, or you put something in just to balance it all and create the composition. And that's the stifling thing in a way. When you look around, if you look at these from a distance, you think they're nice photographs, but they're not. You to think that you've actually painted them by hand it's a really, I don't know, 1 in a million sort of thing, really, to me. Well, you know, like I say, it's 30 years of hard work. Well, it's more than 40 years of hard work, actually. Yeah, but if people haven't got to the exhibition, they can still see your work and get in touch with you and have a word with you about the paintings. Oh yeah, of course, yes. I mean, you know, I'm on the dreaded Facebook, and I've got my own website and everything. So yeah, by all means, just look me up. Yeah.
Well, what a gentleman and a fantastic artist as well. If you haven't seen any of Jeremy Paul's paintings or anything like that, you can find out what they look like on his website, jeremypaulwildlifeartist.co.uk, and they're just fabulous, aren't they, Kirree?
Absolutely beautiful, and they do look like a photograph, don't they? There's that much details in it, especially the ones that you showed me, Simon, with the ferns there and the bracken, and the detail that went into it. You swear they were real life.
Oh, yes, indeed. Wonderful. All right, that ends this week's Countryside. Hopefully on next week's programme we'll be catching up with the newly elected committee of the Isle of Man Federation of Young Farmers, amongst many other things. Until then, though, from me, Simon Clark.
And me, Kirree Kermode.
We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.